Welcome allesammans, welcome back to the channel where we look at Assassin's Creed Valhalla from a historically accurate point of view, and today we're looking at a little gameplay footage of the meeting with the seer, or volva as they would call it in the Viking Age. And I'm going to be giving you some historical information about the two most famous types of magic that we see from the Viking Age, and that is Seidr and Galdr. So these two are absolutely not the only types of magic that the pre-Christian Norse used. They had rune magic, different methods of divination, spiritual journeys to the realm of the dead, and then later on in time they had magical staves, and some things that are not even really magic at all. They had, herbal remedies, healing rituals, or different methods of meditation, things like that. But Seidr and Galdr are the most famous things that we associate with the Viking Age, and the two main types of magic that this volva here, this seer, would be practicing. And I'm going to tell you the difference between those. So Galdr is simply a chant or an incantation. That's all. Directly translated from Old Norse, it means chant or yell or crow. So because of that translation, some experts suggest that the incantation should be recited in like a chirping, like caw or crow-like method. But most experts say it was probably recited in the same way as the Sami yoik singing. Some records from later in time in the Scandinavian folk magic tradition, they say it can either be sung like loud and demanding, or it can be done serious with clenched teeth, talking through the lips like this. And most of them were usually in rhyme, or in poetic meters called Galdrlag. So that's all Galdr was. It was a simple little poem that was believed to bring about some sort of magical purpose. And the cool thing about Galdr is we have tons of actual written down records of these. These are some. One was in the Poetic Edda poem, myth Skirnir's, which is when the god Freyr, he sends his messenger Skirnir, and he goes to the giant Gerdr, and he used this magical Galdr incantation to make her fall in love with Freyr. So you can use these things for love purposes as well. It doesn't seem, though, the exact words or language or even the gods in Galdr incantation was that important, because I have had people ask about that. All that is not important because we see things like different gods being called upon. Sometimes they call upon Jesus, sometimes they call upon Odin, sometimes both in the same poem. And we find them throughout 1,000 years of history in Scandinavia. So that's Galdr. Before I go on about Seidr, I wanted to speak about this right here that we see in the game. And that's the volva giving Eivor a drink of mead. So this was a very mysterious ritual that was used, and it's just been discovered actually in recent years that they did this thing. And in fact, many of the myths in Norse mythology is symbolic and representative of this ritual. It's of some certain maiden or goddess in the myths giving a drink of mead to the hero that is in the myth. So we are for sure that this happened, and it was some sort of initiation ritual or vision quest that real people would do. Exactly like we see in the game here. The maiden would give the hero a drink of this mead, and then it was very often followed by visions or a journey to the realm of the dead to receive wisdom. So exactly how this was practiced or what was in this drink of mead, we don't know, but we do know that the Greeks did this practice with some sort of psychedelic substance in the drink, and this ritual also resembles many other shamanic rituals we see around the world, like the ayahuasca drinking and different things like that. So that's pretty cool there. Now, on to Seidr, the other type of magic in the Viking Age. So Seidr, that's a whole lot more complicated than Galdr, and we don't know a lot about it. I've done a few very long videos about this and what the sources say. I'll put a link in the description to my other channel there, what I've done, but basically we know a few things. The practitioner, usually it was a woman who would work herself up into a trance-like state, and then a song or Galdr was sung to call the spirits into the vicinity, and then drums or rattles were always used. The volva always had a staff with her, It was always done high up on a platform of some kind, and usually it was a traveling woman with a team of helpers doing it for pay or accommodation at a king or a chieftain's house or something like that. And also, the main point of it is it was considered very, very shameful for a woman to do, but it was pretty much the most shameful thing a man could do. So there is some... It's suggested that there is some sort of sexual nature involved with Seidr, this magical practice. So usually what it was done for is it was done for divination purposes and to give advice to the customer who you were doing the reading for. But it also had other purposes, such as affecting the weather, causing sickness or death, taking the shape of an animal, and other things like that. We don't know exactly how Seidr was practiced, and anyone that tells you that is a liar, so just be aware of that. I have seen so many just idiots and wannabe gurus online talking about Seidr and just making a bunch of stuff up. So yes, of course, you're allowed to have your own theories about Seidr or anything else in the Norse world, but it has to agree with the evidence that we have. We can't just go making things up that contradicts the evidence that we have. Any theories that people have to be in arrangement with these. So I have a few theories about this which seem to be very possible, which I spoke about on my other channel. Those links will be in the description below if you want to learn more about it. I'll also be doing some more on this channel with gameplay in the background too, so you can follow if you like. Just remember that Seidr and Galdr were just two practices of magic that the Norse and other Germanic peoples used. There were lots more. So some of the magic is very crazy and not believable at all, and some of them are very, very real and undeniable, but that's up to you guys on what you want to believe in. I'm not a witchcraft or Wicca practitioner or anything like that. I'm just a Viking history nerd, and I'm tired of people just making shit up about our ancestors' spiritual practices. The internet is absolutely filled with these idiots, so if you guys want some good info while playing the game, then you can feel free to subscribe here. But that's about it for this video. Vi ses nästa gång.
They opened for me. Shades of Valhalla, for which you are destined.